This is somehow conflict between Zoom and my recorder. My recorder wants to control the camera. If Zoom take it first, then my recorder complains. Somehow they want to get the control over the cameras. But anyway, what should I say then? Okay, today we'll do, I believe this is the last the topics that we cover the SwiftUI related project. After this, after the spring break, we'll do, for example, a little bit of the applications. I'm going to start with authentications, login issues, so that we can create small apps to log in and verify user login authentications. Usually, I prepare 3 different cases of logins, 3 or plus. Hard-coded login that we can see today's lecture as well. It is simple. You can create a dictionary type of data that can be hard-coded on your program, and it can run. The other one is you can save it on your local database. Xcode has a small database engine. It's not only Xcode. The Linux has that. Probably we're going to use SQLite database. That's a simple database. So we can save our data there. For example, for user, password will be saved there. And when user accesses your app, then the verification of user access will be made based on the local database. The third one is we can save it on the cloud. So user ID and password, for example, are saved. And whenever user enter into my app, then it goes through the internet, goes to the cloud server, and receive and verifications. Basically, those 3 cases will be discussed. Starting with that authentication, we made, for example, simple app to run camera devices, some of the, for example, GPS manipulations, little bit of those, the things that we can utilize from iPhone built-in capabilities. Using that, because we already know, we practiced the SwiftUI and then the features of and the capabilities of the language, I believe pretty much. If you need any additional, then you may learn, or you can do it on your own, fine. For example, for your project. So we'll do that. So again, today is the last day that we practice and exercise the language native issues, okay? Since no one's joined, I'm going to close this because otherwise we may lose some computing powers here. I am going to close this also. Cancel. This I may need. I don't want that. Okay. So let me start with the lecture notes. All right. Handling JSON data. So we're going to receive JSON data from the cloud. On your project, someone may use the cloud, some commercial cloud or cloud that may be available publicly. There are quite a few such available, but we're going to work on the cloud that I built on our, on my personal Google Cloud. Personal means, therefore, yeah, I pay by myself, right?
Is it not school paid?
I do not know. If I ask, then they may do, but probably they don't, because this is monthly. Every month I have to pay. This cloud, I'm using minimal, so $40 per month, continually. But I didn't, and also I didn't switch. I have my own personal domain name. The domain name that I've used for, I think, about 20 years for Mercy cybersecurity program, from my pocket also. I think a couple of times they paid the program. There's there's an annually, maybe, I don't remember, yeah. It's not that much expensive like cloud. I think it's, yeah, some money annually, but I'm going to stop that sooner or later. All right, so let me start with some of the comparison that we last class. We looked at main actor. We already know main, right? They are not really related. Main and main actor, those two descriptions are completely different. So at main, then we know that is entry point of your the app, right? So we looked at, for example, this is code. If this is my app, and that is a type of app after this colon, and then by having this struct will be evaluated the first. So when it comes here, then we know content view needs to be evaluated. So that type of things is indicated on your app. So main is starting points. This is entry points. On the other hand, there is a main actor. This is quite different. Main actor is something about concurrency control, concurrency management. So today we will look at the concurrency management a lot. Not only this main actor, but for example, along your app is running, at each time the Swift statements is evaluated, right? Evaluation of each statement is very quick, for example, millisecond. But at some points, there may be some statements that needs to talk to outside. For example, if I want to get some data from cloud, then it takes much longer than single statements evaluation. Not only that, we do not know for sure whether we will finally receive data from the internet. There may be so many different unknown, unforeseen situations, maybe network disabilities, disconnections, or some of the latency issues, all different kinds, or the server is down currently. So all kinds of issues are available. But your program evaluates from top to bottom some of the modules if there is a struct. And in the middle there is a, hey, I want to access, or I want to talk to, or I want to receive some of GPS data, or I want to open up camera. All such things are available, right? It's not only the issues within Xcode. Then there's some of the interaction with the outside. So we have to manage some of those. Okay? Sometimes we say, hey, we still, this specific one single statement is waiting for some data from outside. Hey, we have to hold, we have to suspend this code segment, this code block. Don't consider me, this is an error, okay? So we have to suspend it and wait. And when some data comes, or when we know for sure that is an error, accordingly, we can handle additional the steps. So there's a concurrency controls. So concurrency is literally some threads goes, and if some of the modules, some of the segment that requires more longer time, then we can let that go while this guy is working. I want to wait. Okay, so as if it runs from the beginning of that code implementation to the end, but in real situation, while this is doing, I let some other things still continue to work, and the other modules do not see I am wrong. I am legally waiting while something is going on. Concurrently, we want to proceed so many steps. So we want to let them all proceed in the right way. That is concurrency control. So main actor here is part of those. So what we'll do here, make a whole class or a little bit of those. It could be entire class. It could be any part of inside that class. So view models. So its property methods can be a main thread. What that means is that, for example, we have a main thread. So main program runs, and somehow it needs to go to network access. Then if I let it go, then it takes longer and longer, right? Instead of doing, if I say main actor, then that specific portion comes up here. We still care this. It's not our child thread. That is my main thread, part of my main thread. So I'm going to take care of this so that I know, hey, if the other guy says, I'm waiting for networking, then this guy says, hey, I'm handling it. If I don't do this, then this is isolated. This is not really known by this main thread. It may cause some issues. So that type of things. So mark specific functions, we call them main actor, and hop to main actor from the background work. In other words, if I let it go, then if my process is so busy handling many others, then this could be in a background process according to the operating system management. I wanted to think of operating systems. If something takes a little longer, then push it back to the background process. So we let it go anyway. And while I am taking care of other things, because others are a little higher priorities, then we have big discrepancies between the computing power. To avoid that, from this background, I want to put it back to main threads. That's what basically explained here. So sometimes without saying main actor, it could be run on background task. But if we say main actor, then it will be back into our main thread, so that it'll be more concurrently managed. There are many ways that we could do. Class can be a concurrent process. If we say main actor before we define class itself, right? This is a class. Before I have this, I had the main actor. This is class itself is a concurrent. The other could be this is inside of a class somewhere, okay? And then when I define function, so in the function definition, before the function definition comes, I put the main actor. Then function will be the concurrency controllers. The other one is specific statements. Main actor. So this is inside the function. One of the statements I said the main actor dot run. Then this portion will be a concurrently managed. I'm going to explain this as async and await later today. So this is an example. This is a main actor for this class, and then entire this is a main actor. This class has one function. We call that method. Set explanations. There we have a dictionary format, string colon string. For example, if I said Linux, then it gives me the explanation of Linux. If I click AI, then explanation of AI, security, same thing. Whatever that you want to do, it could be listed here. Okay, this is hard-coded explanation. Okay, hard-coded explanation. Similar pattern that we could do here, that we can apply that to, for example, user access control. When user enter, let's say Linux is a username, then colon and password. So user password there, so that I can use that password for the verifications. What this function can do, this is simply the declaration, right? The data structure declared. And then from that data structure, if this function receives a field, there is a one parameter, right? Parameter value, there are two names, for and field. This field name is internal parameter name that we use internally, so that we use here. So map give a field, then for example one of this field AI, then this explanation is assigned to explanation variable. So this variable can be published. This explanation that will be published, so it will be available from outside. So what happens here when I click, for example, AI, then this AI explanation or Linux explanation can be loaded. If I click this will be loaded. How come it is possible? Then as I click this load explanation, then it can get the explanation data from this class, and that can be displayed. And also this is an observable object, therefore the entire object will be shared. Okay, this is an observable object. So we need to practice that. So here's a code. So this is a lab 1, simple picker. This is simple picker is very similar to the simple login verification. If login and password hard-coded in our Swift code. Look at this content view. Then content view has field explanation view model, which we looked at. That is this. Field explanation view model, that is observable object. Therefore, when we put here, we call that state objects, right? This is the to shareable. We need to shareable and to make it updatable, then we need to say state objects for that. And then another, this is for the object reference. This is for the value itself. So selected, it could be also variable. Therefore, we say at state. Remember that we learned the difference, those two, a few weeks ago. Initially, the variable selected is a Linux, but it could be one of those or more, right? So we declare options constant, which is an array of any values. And in this view, vertically, we have a picker and button. Remember that this is a picker, this is a button. Horizontally, vertically. So vstack, picker and button. When this button clicked, then the implementation, the action in response to this button clicking is this vm.set explanation for selected. VM is nothing but here, right? That is an object of field explanation VM. So this object can invoke a method within this field explanation VM, which is a set explanation. But this set explanation has a argument for we send selected. Initially Linux. We send the Linux by clicking others, by picking up others. This is a picker. We can send another. I want to go back to see that field explanation VM once more on the next slide. There's the same code. Field explanation VM, there is a method set explanation. Remember there's a one parameter, two different parameter name, field that is locally used, for that is externally. So if we see this for, come back here, then that for is used here. So you can send one of these values in this array that goes into set explanation. So when one of those values, for example, AI, Linux, that comes in here, then we set this variable. Explanation is nothing but, because given this field name, field is nothing but for, they are the same, right? For the same parameter. So if we say AI, then AI is the key, value is paired with it. So given AI, then the value assigned to explanation. Given security, then value is assigned to that explanation. So explanation is published. Back here, so that will be, by clicking this, then we know explanation public explanation within that objects. That is assigned, right? Once we click one of these values, which is the key, then we know explanation. Once we receive this for the field name, then we know explanation because that is assigned to there, right? Equal is nothing but assignments. So from this dictionary, remember the dictionary, given key, then we can get the values. If there is no field available, then we put here, no explanation is available. So that is for this button and text. Back here, button and text, I explained. This is a picker. Picker is this. As I explained here, picker in SwiftUI lets the user choose one value from a set. It could be drop down or segment control, wheel, menu, whatever. We will practice this, okay? So picker, field, from here there, there's a picker declaration, and then we set picker style dot segment, but we can say different. For example, picker style dot menu or dot wheel. As I said here, it could be drop down or segmented control or wheel, menu. So this picker can display here in the for loop for each from this option. Option is an array, right? This array ID or array index. For each element, I text it. I simply display it. Okay, simply like that. So we can practice that in Xcode. No recent project. I have lots of those. Why it doesn't show? Anyway.
You probably updated it.
No, I didn't. Maybe automatically.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, here I can put in class JSON. iOS, okay. So here, that is a main, which is entry points. When it comes with this app starts from here, and then first view is a content view. Goes up here. I have another call from Texas. By the way, 2 weeks ago, that was the bank fraud.
Scam.
So they said they had that kind of thing so often. It's not only bank inside, they want to link bank and Zello, right? Is it? Zelle, right? Gel, yeah, gel. So they make us confused. So it's not only the bank issue, it could be a gel issue. So bankers and gel guys talk to me, and I am confused. But anyway, so nothing happens because I stopped. All right, this is the entry point. This is a content view. So we'll code some of those here. So what I will do, I want to make a state private variable selected. Initially, I can say Linux. And also, I want to create a constant, say options. It'll be an array. I want to take Linux, Mac OS, iOS, tvOS. No, I don't want the Mac OS. Maybe AI and iOS. Maybe SwiftUI, tvOS. I want to put there security, cybersecurity. Cybersecurity. Okay. And then in this VStack, I do not want this. I want to do, for example, button. And then some of the label is load explanation, and the real button action comes here. After that, I can do text. Some of the things that I need to display there. Okay. I can simply say, yeah, selected that. Meanwhile, I'm going to put here the picker. And then label here field, and then selection. There is local variable here. It can be from that selected. And then for each, and I want to get that from options, and ID is from /self, And then each element I call that item, or you can say element in text L. And that picker, there's a picker style, and that is a segment, segmented, and then button. Let's make it simple like this. As you see here, we already had, let me get from iPhone 17 and run so that you can see it. This is not. So I have Linux that is automatically picked because I initialized it, selected this. This is selected, appears here, selected. So I can click to select something, right? I didn't do much, but the effect is really helpful, right? When I click this, then it shows here button. When click button, then text can, whatever I selected here, that'll be displayed here, selected. If I change this style, for example, into some others, menu or wheel. So, for example, wheel. And then rerun. Then you can see some of the wheels. You hear some of the sound, right? Like fortune wheel. It's not round, but it's like wheel. If we change this to menu, then you can be like a menu. You can choose AI. You can choose cyber security. Select the drop-down menu. Okay. So let's make it segmented. So as is, it looks okay, but I didn't have any. By clicking this, I want to show the corresponding explanations. So I need to make a the model, view model. Model means data, right? So I want to declare the data. So I need to create one more file. You can declare that file here within this, or you can make a separate file. If you want to make separate files, then you can, at least you can click one above or at the same level. If you click this and create, then it goes into this level. It could be in the same level as in class JSON, because I am creating a file here. So either you want to highlight this and get the file creation, or at the same level. So I want to get this and file, empty file, and I want to make it here. I want to make this file field explanation view model. So I can say field explanation view model. Field explanation view model. That is this. There I want to do this. Okay. So import SwiftUI, and if you need to do import to combine so that they can go together. Import to combine, and then final class field explanation VM. That should be observable objects. This guy picked very intelligently. So let's see what he did. Explanation. That's what I want to do. Here a little. I do not want to this. So I want to close that. Instead, I want to make a function. Functions. And then set explanation. Rather than the internally, I call the variable name field, and external variable name, I want to call it for. That way, when I come here, content view, for example, what did I say? Generate fixation.
Yeah,
Oh, because of that. Yeah, with that much, and then when I come back here, content view, and then I can make a state object. State objects. Content view model. I want to make a I want to create a variable, I mean the objects from, no, not view model, from field explanation view model. And when I come here, I want to put, I want to access here VM dot, what is the function that I made? Function that I made is a set explanation. So when this function is collected, then VM dot set explanation function, it automatically get the for, the argument to name for, because I declared that here for, right? And then which one that I want to enter? I want to enter field, right? Field,
Selected.
no, options. Or selected, yeah, for selected. Selected that I want to enter. Selected. What is this? Remove that. And text, rather than this, I'm going to put VM dot explanations. This explanation is not declared, so come back here. I want to set that explanation because I already had it here, right? So I put here explanation. Explanation equals, because I put here explanation is published. Let's take it as is. This is explanations for that field that received from this function invocation. Okay, so I think this VMX of that. Oh, some of those. I want to make a either I want to make exclamation. Fine. Because of the yeah, could be right. So let's put this. Let's go back here. Exclamation. Explanation. Explanations here, we put some of the default, so in this case it works, right? Let's make this. So publish a variable that, and yeah, we make here the initialization. Some of this. So it could be, at worst case, it is something, right? So rather than this, explanation, yeah. So I'm going to run. So when I click, say, SwiftUI, click this button, load the explanation, then it says, this is explanations for SwiftUI. Cybersecurity, click it. This is explanations for cybersecurity. Click this. This explanation for Linux. Only what we need to do is, we want to give the proper explanation, right? Here, because I didn't do anything. I simply said here, whatever I choose from there for name for the parameter for the field, I said that. So in this here, I want to make a dictionary map that is string to string, and rather than this, see if I can, let's type it. I would try to copy it, but okay, Linux colon Linux is on right now, because I have here paint. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. So let's make it simple. Linux is an operating system. Is a reliable. And the other could be, and then we put here a comma, and what else that we had? AI, artificial intelligence. This is good. Artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science. Fine. SwiftUI. This guy gives me intelligently. Save to that. What else that I made? Cybersecurity. Cybersecurity colon. Cybersecurity is involved in the protecting data. Okay. So we're lucky because of this assistant. I'm going to run this. then we'll get real. So load explanation. Oh yeah, here I need to make this. So explanation is map. If I choose a field, fine, right? We can put some default and say no explanation is available. Run. By default, the Linux is collective. That's what we made here, right? We made the Linux by default. You can choose something else. So click this, then Linux is a reliable operating system. SwiftUI explanation. Swift is a framework for the building user interface, cybersecurity. Explanation, cybersecurity involves protecting data and network from cyber threats. AI is an intelligent, which is a branch of computer science. So this is the first lab that we practice. So I wanted to practice this. I'll give you maybe 2 minutes to. Do you guys follow so far? Then you can finish it up. Let me know if you complete it. I will be back. Oh, you didn't follow the explanation?
I am following. I have it right here.
Oh, you got that?
Yeah.
Successfully?
I've been trying to. I'm following along with it. I'm typing as you're doing it. I'm trying to keep up.
Yeah, finish it up. I'll give you 2 minutes. Oh, weather is good. Bright, sunny day. Oh. Here?
Yes. Actually, no, I have.
The lecture notes has more solid
Okay.
the coding list. But I'm going to explain. I'm not going to follow exact as I already given to you on the lecture slide, but I want to give you the way that you can learn as you try. That's what I want to show. So sometimes I'm giving you the demo of having errors and dealing with the errors. That way you can learn rather than copy and paste. Right? That's easy. That's better to you. Anybody has any issues so far? Okay, then move. So next one is JSON data, real JSON data that I want to do. Okay. In order to get that, we need to have a REST API required. So I set it up already, and JSON needs to be expected. So I will visit the cloud server, which is this. This is my server, cloud server, and I want to show to you the one that I made. PHP is created. So one of the PHP here is explanation.php. This one. So if I want to show to you explanation.php, and it shows here JSON respond field is our field, computer science, AI, something like that, the topic field, and index, because I can have more than one explanation, or 0 or more explanations. Could it be 0 explanation? Could it be 1 or more? So that I can show what is the explanation that I currently showed to you. There's the index, and how many total explanations. So this is the current descriptions. This is real explanation. Done. This tells me whether I displayed all the explanations. If it is true, then done, true. If it is not, false. Next index. Let's say if currently my index is 0, then next index is 1. Currently my index is 2, then next index is 3, things like that. Those things will be given that. And also MySQL. User JUN, I'm going to access by password. Show databases. The database that I made here is the AI API. So I want to use the AI API database and show tables. I have only one table, field exp. It has only two attributes defined. Actually three. ID is a simple ID. It's an auto increment. Field and descriptions, two of those. Okay. So field is the name of the topic field. The size is 100. And then description is text. This is a free size. And if I look all the data populated in that table, then these are the populations that I made. Let's see. Okay. So only AI, I said, how many AI? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 AIs, right? Swift, I have many Swift. Linux, only one. Linux, simple freeware of Unix. Cybersecurity, I have that many. So those are the already defined in my database. And I am going to close this. And if you see here, this is IP. External IP is 32 that. So I can show, for example, I think I already, yeah. This is 35.203.111.99. There's this. And this is an address, JSON sensors SP222 explanation PHP question field equals SwiftUI or AI or Linux, for example. Linux, I have only one, right? Linux, it says this is explanation. Description is a simple freeware of Unix. Done true. Why? Because I had only one element for the explanation for Linux, right? And the next index, null, because only one is used. Currently index is 0, that is it, right? But if I say here SwiftUI, then I have many, right? SwiftUI, then I don't want this. Why? What is this? AI all of a sudden came up. So I said Swift. Okay. Then for the Swift, current index is 0. How many explanations? 7 explanations. So first explanation here, Swift language for user interfaces. Done, false, is not done yet. Next index is number 1 because the current one is 1. So it goes until this guy is generated from PHP. Database only shows the first ones. So PHP handles the rest. Okay, so we will show that. So I'm going to close this, minimize this. So here's the things. This is a picker that we had, same as before, right? And I made here a progress view. Remember that there's a little bit of the wheels blinking. if we don't show that, then the user may think, oh, my system is dying. So by showing this, this app says, I'm still working on it. And when the data is available, then data returns this. Remember, this is the data that we looked at from that. Field Swift, index 0, total 7, description Swift language for user interface, done is false, next index is 1. This is clearly that we looked at here, right? This is the same as that once. That appears. Okay, a little bit more than the previous. So pickers remain the same. This is the same, and this is the same. This remains the same, and that is also the same. We have one more. VM is loading. So VM is loading needs to be made, maybe, and the VM explanation there. And also we have here task. Previously this V stack, this is V stack from here there. We didn't make a task. So task is another way that we can do concurrency control. And it waits. So this task is doing something while waiting. Load explanation function. When this function is done, then only without this, if something happens, this whole V stack may be hung. This guy says, oh, I have an error. So by having this, we can say, hey, don't worry. I'm still working on a task, which is async. I want to start an asynchronous task. When V appears and it restarts, it starts when this is complete. So when are we going to use this task? When it runs, first time the view appears, it runs once. Whenever selected changes, it runs again. So when I click, by clicking one of the picker, then I have to reload the explanations, right? So I have to say, I said, do some concurrence controls. Look at field explanation VM. Back here, we had only field explanation VM, right?
Professor,
2 files.
so quick question. So if you use a button like before, you don't have to use task.
Say it again.
If you use the button like before.
Button
Yeah, you don't
before. I'm not sure why you ask. Button before.
No, I'm saying like if you use a button, we don't have to use task, right?
No, this works after we click button. Still, we have to make a concurrency controls because it goes to
There's no button on this one.
Hmm?
There's no button here.
Picker can do. Button.
Before we had picker and button. The button, when you press it, then it will load the information.
Right. Yeah. Right. In this case, we don't need to because this is a loading. Instead of button, then when you click button. Let's go back. When you click button, then we set that explanation, right? We set the explanation. Explanation is a variable. So we want to change the variable. We want to update the variable. Oops. Here, by clicking this, we update the variable. Back here today, this time, it's a task. It starts asynchronous task. So anyway, there is a invocation, vm.load explanation. Remember, this is an invocation, right? So we want to invoke this. While this is invoked, we hold this whole this task. So this task is like a button.
So my follow-up question would be, if we don't use task and we use button, do we still need to use a wait or no?
If you put button, then there's no concurrency controls.
Right.
So it may button is a low level of simple implementation, but task, there's a more there's the interactions over the world. So we create a task which is a concurrency control, and we tell, task is, I explained that task here. Let's see. Okay, task. Task is the most common way to start asynchronous concurrent job. Usually file networks from the view. So tasks, there's multiple different ways that you can do. Task start synchronous work. Task with the main actor. Or you can put modifier, in our case, vstack modifier. So we have a dot task and then implementation inside this task. Our case, in this task, we invoke a function. The other could be with some IDs, some of the cancellation check. If something canceled, then by having this task, we make sure that it's canceled. So all of these cases will be handled by task options. So I made here, for example, you can put the task within some of the button. Okay, so but not button itself. If you do not have this task, then that is not concurrent controls. Okay, so we have here task. Button is so only the action. The other case, in our here, without user button, automatically, remember here, so by default, first initialization is index. So index is automatically goes into that invocation. So without doing anything, first thing, it invokes here. First time, it runs once. So with that Linux, it displays first. Because the load explanation is available, this text function, fine. Without having this, when it comes to this text, then there may be a big problem because the explanation is not set yet. So having this task, this body runs from here. So picker appears, and then loading, that freeload is displayed, right? This kind of symbol is running. And after that, if there is some error messages, error. And when it comes here, text, these two things, if there is an error or display text, this takes time, and this is available only after the completion of this load explanation. When this load explanation, if you see next slide here, that load explanation is not only the local, the dictionary data capture, but we have here URL. HTTP, those are all the URL comes here. So it takes little while. We do not know how long it takes. Therefore, we said here, because we have this kind of unknown situations, but that already in this implementation, to save these guys, then I have to say that task, hey, we have to wait. This is a concurrent controls. So you guys, please wait until everything is done. That's what happens here. That's the whole scenario. You guys understand what it is? Yeah. So this kind of things that you do not see, for example, in Python or in other languages, because it's a more real world, real time communication from outside, with the outside, because outside is not under my control. I do not know what's going on, right? So a little bit of the safety issues. And along that multi-thread, we say, hey, main thread, please let me know. Please, I'm going to let you know that I am still working on. That's whole points here. Okay, that's good questions. I think others here, this is the same, and I put here is loading boolean. Okay, initially that is false. Error messages initially null, not no error, right? Initially, when I said load explanation, is the loading is true. Error messages yet nil, nothing. And I have default is loading false, which means I want to this is loading needs to be false eventually, right? Remember that this guy needs to be, when this is loaded, then this should be stopped, right? But in my code, I put there is loading is false. I said first here, is loading is true. And immediately I said is loading is false. But when I said here default, it says run this code when the current function is about to exit. If this is done, then we said is loading is false. Okay, this function is done, then we load that. So next one is do, and I declare the constant URL using URL request functions. I mean, this is a class object instantiation. So URL request object can be instantiated by having URL, and then URL is an object. URL request objects. And another data variable declared. That data can be assigned from this function, URLSession.shared.data. This is the function, right? So this guy URLSession takes URL. URL is the object that I declared here, right? So send this URL information to URLSession, then this guy get the data, and that data is assigned to this data. And I said that data is nothing but our explanation. So explanation is now the variable that has the value bound to itself. And if it has a very data available, then explanation is that data. Otherwise, remember your question mark. Otherwise, we say bad data. And then we put here await task sleep. I made some demo delay. And then I reshuffle. So initially I have explanation that comes from this, the cloud. Takes this many nanoseconds. How many nanoseconds? This is a million and billion. 99 billion nanosecond. Then I can flash the explanations. I said fetch the explanations for whatever the field. Okay. I think that's, so URL session that I explanation here. Remember that here URL sessions. What is a URL session? URL session is when you get, there's two things. You can get the data or you can post the data. Okay, there you can use the URL sessions.
Could you go back to this slide? So you have demo after field. Is that correct or is that a mistake? Fetched explanation for field and then you have demo.
That's okay. This is just text.
Oh, so it's not part of the.
Demo is just text. Remember that here. String.
Oh.
Just text. Open parenthesis demo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So get and post. Post is when you post it. Get when you receive the data. You can create this by header or without header. This is a simple. In this code we made this simple. Okay. We can make a HTTP method, get or post, set values, timeout intervals. We can decorate all of this header information and to get the get data or post data, or we can do simply without it. So in our demo here, without it. So let's enhance our program a little bit. And also here I call this published and variable and is loading. There's a boolean initially false and another published is error. No, not error. So error messages. String and nil. Rather than set explanation, I put this load explanation. So I don't need this hard coded, right? I made here is loading initially false, but I want to make it is loading true, but I want to defer it so that I can do defer. Explanation is only available. Oh, this is not the function but implementation. So we need to do and this explanation is not hard-coded explanations attachment, but from data. So how can we get the data? Then we can get the data from let data, and then we made something. Before doing let the URL is to be prepared by URL request. URL request to URL. In that URL, I am going to get this copy within that, copy and paste. And this is not field, is not that field. We want to get the field from here, the variable field. Okay, so we want to make this string to, want to make a URL to string. Everything is a string, so that we want to make another close. When you have that, then we need to do. Okay, here's a very important things. This load explanation has unexpected time delay, so we need to make this asynchronous. So make async. Async throws, okay, throws. Then we need to catch here. Because of that throws, we need to catch. This is exception handling. Asynchronous. Therefore, we can make here await. This load explanation function wait until these statements. So we say here await, because we need to access the URL. So this guy already said URLSession .shared .data and for URL. Very nice. So we don't need to do others. But let's say this, like here for URL, right? Simply, and that is we can apply this URL exclamation. If this is not available, then we cannot, right? Exclamation means we definitely need this is correct. Then we can say this exclamation explicit data. Cannot get the data. Yeah, we need to data. We need to assign it to the string that data. So explanation is string, so we need to come back the string. So what we need to do, as we say here, encodings So we can make this, right? We make just like this. String, comma, encoding. Why? Because why do we need to do encoding? Remember that in Python also, if you receive the data from outside, when you communicate the data, for example, through TCP, UDP, or through the internet, when data is shipped out, it is encoded. Encoded data is shipped out. So when you want to display it, when you receive it, then all the time, or every time that you need to do this encode what is the error here? No exact matches in all initializations. No. What happens? The URL share the data. Oh, because this URL session returns not only data, but it returns something else, so that I can this guy will return two values in tuple. I want to take only first one data in this code, so I made that. I made here maybe explanations. Make this. See what happens. Let data try for that and explanations. Let data equals expected. Is it comes from here? Oh, comes from above. So we have to make this. Okay. And this, no exact match, called initializations. That is string must be unwrapped. So string. So we need to do data colon data. Okay, in this, let's put there exclamation. Extraneous, so we have more than that. Okay. So we have this. So I'm going to come back here. Rather than having this, I want to make here the text, the task code, I think the first one, and in the code task has ID colon selected. So for this selected, whatever selected, okay, for that selected, we have to await and then VM dot load select explanation for selected. For that, I think we need to do here. In this case, we have to do here at the main actor. And then task. I think this is it. Cannot throw, but is the now mark try. Let's try. Yeah. Why not? Then we have to throw. I think without this it should work. What else do I need to do? Task VM explanation. Object VM private. I think this is it, but why? Let's say call through.
You don't have a catch, I think. That's what.
Yeah, this guy complains that we need to put here try and catch, but I'm not sure. Without it, it works. But why?
The other model, view model, you don't have the catch or anything inside the catch.
That's fine. Without implementation of catch, that's fine. You mean this, right? You can. This is catch, but catch nothing. We do here only the catch messages, error messages. But if you don't use this error messages here, error messages that's published, and here we want to put that error messages, but I didn't use this, right? I simply use this, so that is okay. Only VM, if VM load, let's see if that affects. But other than that, so here, if VM is loading, then we put their progress view. I don't think it's the issue. Wait, load explanation for selected. Sometimes it less clean build. It's not cleaned. Clear all issues. Fail, so fail here. Okay, let's put a try. if we put try, then we need to do here task. I think async. Throws. Or because of, okay. Let's wait. Oh, this is what we did. Oh, I put here main actor. Main actor is not this. Main actor should be here. This guy should be main actor. What else did I need? Do you guys try at your side? Anybody has any? Actually, this guy, in my code, I didn't use this async only. Oh, that disappeared. Because I put here throws. This catch is not this function itself. Because I'm using this function and throws, when I call here the function, this guy says, I need to try. This catch is not from there, but this catch is from this two. There is a try. So it comes from here. So when I remove this throws, it works. So let's try. So it takes time, still is loading. By default, it comes from this Linux. So Linux will become here. It takes a while. Oh, by the way, I guess it is because of yeah, it has an error, right? This error. Remember that error should be fixed from here. And the info, I didn't have anything there, so you can, anything that's the arrows, horizontal, anywhere, a plus sign, then there is a app transport security settings, click that, then it'll be made here, app transport security settings. So click this, so it'll be down arrow, and then there is a plus sign. Click that, and then you choose arrow arbitrary load, and the value should be yes, so that transport security settings data can be loaded. That's allowed previously because of that. So when I redo this, it came up quickly, right? So when I click this Swift, then comes out that AI only one. No, Linux is only one, right?
Loading is not stopping.
Which one?
The loading, the progress view is not stopping.
I think we can do a little more, as I had here. Come back here a little bit. Content view, and this.
Should be false. It should be the other way around.
Which one?
His loading should be true first of all, and then it should be false, right?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, true. Yeah, that's the other way. Good catch. Let's try. Oh, quickly. Okay, so let's move. I explained those things here, but I will. Okay, next one is this. Right now ours is, we simply display everything, right? But now we want to display only description, and then there is another button, next explanation, and start over, so that we can display as many explanations as possible, depending upon the data is available. So we looked at already this JSON data formats from PHP files, and also we looked at the table. Table has ID, and then field and description at this database, AI API. So to handle this JSON, we need to declare the variable, the data models. Data model needs to be declared as a decodable, because this is a JSON data that is shipped into our device as encoded. In our program, we have to decode it so that we can get the values. Remember here, this is somehow not yet we can see as a variables. So we want to handle the variables. This is a JSON data encoded. So we want to decode it into each variables, each local variables. That's what we want to do. So want to create here, for example, import foundation, and then struct field explanation mode, which is the data, and then we call that decodable. Decodable. Because we have this field, index, total, description, done, next index, we get them all here. So let field is string, let index is integer, let total also integer, let description string, let done, there's a boolean, let next index, there's integer. And then in that explanation mode is a load done. So we'll make one more. Here published. Let's make here. Yeah, done. Because done is important on our control, right? Published variable is done, boolean false. I make it done, small. Okay. And then my explanation is a multiple, so that I can make it private variable. Next index by field. I call that yeah, string. I give it string, then it returns index. And I made another so take this URL out and put it in here, and then I set a private let base URL equals URL. So it'll be URL. I think I need to take that out. So that is up to the PHP, not the value yet. So base URL, and I need to close that. So your URL is created, and is loading async, still okay. Is loading okay. Error default, oops, and then do let. So here, because this guy needs to be accessed multiple times, and depending upon the field, different field, even for the same field, if I say generate more, then it can generate more. In this way, I wanted to recall, for example, ChatGPT. If you ask ChatGPT draw something, then it can draw initial drawing, and then there is another button says generate more, then it can generate more. So similarly, I would demonstrate here. So we made the base URL only here, and then using that button, we can utilize it. So let index, initial index, every time that I have index, then it can get the URL. You can do here default equals like this. What is this? This is something yet. Either this, or you can make field and then double question mark 0. That works same, right? If there is a field, if there is a next index available, then that is my index. Otherwise, 0. Or you can say here and then default equals 0. Either way will be okay. And then I have variable, my variable. I want to say my variable is comp equals URL components. URL components is the base URL and some of the resolutions, like here, resolving against the base URL. That is this, right? So I would say here URL components, and then there is the option URL resolving against the base URL. So I can choose one of those, and URL is my URL. My URL is base URL here, right? So I can say here base URL, and resolving against base URL is false. Base URL, base URL. I made the base URL. Why this guy is maybe exclamation, and then we can say false. And then that comp, I explained here, URL components. URL component is the fastest, swift way to build URLs, especially when you have query parameters. For example, if you have a different field and different index, then you need to compose those things. So component is somewhat better than the way that we used in the previous ways. So that we have a URL components, and then comp, put their query items, query items equals within that two things that you would do, URL query item, name and value. So name is, we will have a field and different field, right? So field and field. Field that is given by this, the function invocation field. And for that field, another URL resolution name and value is, name is index, right? So index, because I have a multiple different explanations, so I can do, this index is in index that we looked at. This is the index. What is the type of this index? Is this formats, right? So that I can do here, change that string to index. Index, if I do index, then what happens? Is it okay? So I convert that to string. I made that. So I have a multiple query items that can be associated with this URL components. So every time URL can be modified, because for different field, we want to display explanation by explanation after another and another. That's what we want to show. And then finally here, let URL equals comp.url, but to make sure it is safe, so we can say guard and else. Remember that we want to handle the error first, right? Initialize conditions using bind must have an optional URL. So we may not need this URL. Sorry. Okay. The next slide here. It continues the data. Now we put that let data, and then we want to take the second element from that URL session. So response is up to you, and await. URL. So URL goes into that URL session. You're expected to argument to URL request. URL for cannot convert the value URL to expected URL request. URL, let's see, previous URL comp, URL request. If we say optional, then we cannot get that, right? So get that optional out. then all the way up. Yeah, we can put here X column. Instead of there, we can put here X culmination. Still, that's channel options. If we do this, then we have that issue. URL expected request. URL. What if we do exclamation? URL.
You should force the comp.
Hmm?
You put exclamation.
Yeah, this.
No, the comp. Var comp.
Here?
Yeah. No, var comp. That one. The one before, yeah, there.
Back here?
Yeah. So you have to take out optional and then it should work.
Maybe. Okay. Try.
When you remove those two question marks, and it should work.
And remove that also.
Still forcing.
Doing the URL request. Why it ask me to ask a URL request? URL string that URL request. Hmm. URL2 expected arguments type URL request cannot convert.
Is it because of the...
Because of what?
the only difference I see between your slide is the return after card. So in the slide you have throw and then there you have card.
So yeah, instead of a return, maybe it's a throw. Yeah, that maybe, yeah. Yeah. Not return, but URL. Let's try another. Here, clear all issues. Failed there. case here. Response. I want to make this simple, so I'm going to take all into here in one body rather than going back and forth. Still that we do not need that. Content view. I have more of those. Let me, to save time, let me get mine. That I made. The one that I made was I think this is it, right? No, not this. Maybe this. Okay. Let's compare the word. This still the same. Data.
Oh, it's for and
Oh, from. Why? It was in our code. Oh, it says also from. Oh, this is your URL request. Here. Okay. And then I'm going to do, we don't need to, this is something, this is somehow, if there is an error, then error can be shown. And then I will do here, let decode, decoded equals try JSON decoder and decoder field explanation mode. Let's say field explanation mode is self and data, right? And then there's a self explanation equals decoder decoded description only, right? And if description is fine, then we can assign that description. Otherwise, we can say not available. And then, if it is the case, then we can do self done. It goes done. And then we do next index. So if let next equals decoded next index, then we can say next index by field that mode. That should be the next. Otherwise, if it is available next, otherwise we call that next one is the final ones, the bigger number, which is the total. That total. Therefore, that next index can be manipulated by this. And then we'll do this reset maybe later. And then the field decode, let's see what happens so far. So by having this, but we don't have any button yet, right? So we have to make it. So that is a content view. Yeah, here we have to say that. It goes to next. Before we do, okay, we have to. So in the content here, navigation stock. Rather than picker, we are going to use something different. So body here. So remove everything here. So navigation stack. Navigation stack. Not picker, but we want to do field of interest that we, originally that we made, right? So let's say list fields of interest, ID, and then we want to make navigation link. Navigation link. And this navigation, the field of interest that we made, we can change this, a little bit of this. So let's make this, rather than this, we will use options. How about that? We still use that. Navigation link. We want to make. We want to create another. Another module. So when it is navigated to next view, what we will do? So we need to do field detailed view. That should be declared. There we want to send. We have to declare that by label. And then text field. So detailed view, detailed field detailed view, field detailed view. That's I am going to copy from my code. Field detailed view. Okay, this is a field detailed view. So it'll be somewhere here. So make here field detailed view. Let me explain this. So what happens is here when I click, it goes to content, this field. So we have to make this a field detailed view field. So because I declared that in my content here, field detailed view, field detailed view, field this is I have to make here field in, and this should be field. Back to that. Errors, I'm not going to handle this. Okay, so remove that. Field detailed view, the VM is still there, field name. And then when it comes to the navigation, then exclamation comes here. More explanation. And then VM observable objects. Load the next explanation for field. So which one is observable? Observable object. This is observable object. Let's see. Reference subscript to the request object. Content in the content view. Load the next explanations. Load the next explanation. Load the next explanation. It is fulfill the stream. Fill the explanation VM. Fill the explanation VM. Load. So index. Field data. There is some errors. Reference of the requires a wrapper. Insert dollar. Cannot call value non-function type binding subject. Value has no dynamic member. Load next explanation using the key path. Show bubble explanations. Let me, I don't see the clue, but let me run the code that I made, and I'm going to explain that. The code already in the list. What happens here, I listed in the content view, says SwiftUI, Linux AI, machine learning, cybersecurity network. That appears here because I made the navigation stack and navigation link. When I click one of those, then it goes to field detail view. For example, when I click Swift, then it goes to field detail view. So it goes to field detail view here. When you come here, state objects VM, the field explanation VM. And the first thing it does is that it takes this field, because I click the SwiftUI. SwiftUI appears in the title 2 type, and then is loading progress. I didn't make yet. Is loading right now. Is loading. Oh, I didn't handle this is loading here. Or is loading. Probably it is false already. But anyway, it is not appears here. Okay, is loading is not appears here. because it is probably it is a false. And then next one is a text is empty, then tap to get on explanation. So it's a tap to get on explanation. And then after that is a next after that there's a button. If it is not done, if it is done, then no more explanation. If it is not done, then next explanation. Because currently it is not yet done, so next explanation appear here. Either this or that. And inside there is a task, wait, and the VM load the next explanation. So using that field, it invokes, because VM is an object that I declared here, right? VM is an object. Current object is a VM. And I give a field name. Field name is SwiftUI. So when I click this, then it goes to SwiftUI and bring that, quickly brought that. Because the SwiftUI, there are maybe quite a few explanations, so that we can do more, bring more, and another come here, and another come here, and another come here, and another come here, and another come here. When everything is done, because the total number reached, for example, 7, then VM done equals true. If it is true, then this button will become no more explanations. There's no more explanations. And then there is and if it is no more explanation, I said here disabled. This is disabled. Either true or false. Are we going to this button disabled? Then this should be true, right? Inside here should be true. But inside here, that is the two conditions combined by OR operation, right? So either VM is loading or VM is done, then this is not clickable. If the load is done, then this is clickable. Load is done and done is not, yeah, either way, right? So it can be disabled based upon this conditional expressions. And after that, start over. If we start over, then this function, this method is invoked. Reset method, that's that also available here. There's a reset method, right? So we can do start, then it can reset and go back. Then we can bring up another and next explanation. Then machine learning, there is no more, right? Start over, going back. Networking, I'm not sure is network there. No descriptions for networking. Right. So all the code is here, by the way, but somehow when I try to do this, there's some issue. Probably I missed something. I thought I didn't, right? I declared all observable objects and but anyway, yeah, I'll stop here. So I wanted to practice this. So by the next homework assignments is actually this. the last ones that I give a demo. So I want you to do this, and then click one of those. Then this is a detailed view. So click next to explanation that can be generated. If it reaches the end of that explanation set, then this should be disabled. You can do restart. You can go back and do others. Okay, this is the homework assignments for the next. But you will have, next week is the spring break, so you may have enough time. So I'll give you maybe 10 days to figure that out. The code is there, but as you bring that on your system, sometimes you have to tweak a little bit, as we did. Right? It's depending upon your Xcode situation. It may work as the code provided, but sometimes you have to tweak a little bit. All right. Any question before we stop for today?
So same server address?
Hmm? Oh yeah, you use the same URL that I made. Yeah, because you do not have your own URLs. Yeah, exact same ones I want you to practice. Okay. All the code's there, but I wanted to combine them. Here, one thing that I tell you, you have to set up. You have to set up this property list. I think protocol is the property list. The one that I made. Information here, app transport security settings. If you click there, then the allow arbitrary load. It should be yes. It can be so that it'll come to your app. I wanted to put, other than this, put everything in one file so that you can avoid some of the issues. Okay? Because everything can be declared in one file. So this is your homework assignments. So make one file, which is content view. All right. Any other question?
So why do you think this one we needed to add the plist and the last one we didn't have to add the plist? Remember for the Wikipedia we didn't have to? It was still working.
I do not know Wikipedia, right? But this is a real internet.
Public? Is that why?
I don't know. But at that time, so when you try, did you try at your side without setting?
Yeah, I did.
So Wikipedia goes with no settings. Remember that I said, oh, we should set up. But without setting it, it works. But I thought my code already set up, so it works. But at your side, you never set up the property list.
No,
for the network.
I set it up when I submitted it, but before submitting it, I did not set up, and I tried it, and it still worked.
Wikipedia, it is also HTTP protocol, right?
Yeah.
If it's a HTTP protocol, I think it should, but I'm not sure why Wikipedia may be treated differently by Xcode. I do not know. But in general, most cases, you should set up in order to, that is the privacy issues of the internet implementations on the smartphone apps. All right. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Next week, spring break. There's no class. Enjoy the spring break, and see you in 2 weeks.
Professor, I just
Yes.
sent you the
I see you have to.
See. Hi everyone. I guess we made a simple error. Remember that we had here the button. There's this is a button label, and then task that can be conducted when the button is clicked. There's a load next explanation. But this load explanation here in this field explanation, the function here, this is simple error. We have simply load explanation, not load next explanation. So I think we need to make a match of that. I believe, let's see what happens. Let me clean all issues. And then looks like that error disappeared. Let me click this run button. Still failure. Load the next explanation. And when we come back here, oh, this is a road. This is different ones. Yeah, that passed, right? This passed. And the VM, the start over, reset, that we have to, this is a VM. So VM is this. Inside here that we have to create another, like this. We had here, this is all the actions when the button is clicked to load the next explanation. Similarly, I think we can get another function after this func reset, and then the field name, and we'll call that string, and then next index by field, field needs to be set to 0, and the explanation that we so far had all that, and done is not false. It should be false so that it can run. I believe that we had that, so that the error disappeared. Let's try to run it. Oh, yeah, yes, success. So if you go to SwiftUI, right, next explanation, see the progress view, and then next explanation, next explanation, next explanation, next explanation, next explanation, next, and then this is disabled and start over. We could do that, and we can also do, for example, Linux. Next explanation, immediately only one explanation, and start over, come back. This is pretty much that we want to do. Again, so what caused us the issue was we didn't match the function name, load explanation. I think that is what we used previously, but we have to say load the next explanation because we have the next explanation here, right? That is what we need to do. Okay, I think this is it. Thank you.